Hello everyone. So here I have the Sony AS200. This is Sony's action camera. This is not the 4K one, it records 1080p only. So it's pretty small. Here I have a AA battery for comparison. So it's really quite tiny. I have this bottom attachment, makes it easier to put on any kind of mount or tripod. Now this cover here, so it's actually, the camera itself is quite small if you were to take everything off of it. Now, so I've had this camera for about a year. I've had quite a bit of experience with it. I initially purchased it with the arm watch, so you can kind of see what's on the screen, and I also have the waterproof case. Although, in fact, I just want to say right off the bat that I've almost never used them. The watch especially, I've used it about 3 or 4 times, but I've really not found it to be that useful. I mean, I guess I don't use this camera that regularly, that I have the watch with me all the time, but it usually just happens to be that I have the camera in my pocket and I record whatever I need. And that gets to the point of this camera. This camera has been absolutely fantastic because it's tiny. I can just throw it in my pocket and I just have a video camera with me at all times. It's very durable, it's kind of splash resistant. It has 2 very good microphones. And the battery life on it is also very good. It's about 2.5 hours of recording in 1080p. This is at 60 FPS. So I consider that to be pretty good. And the batteries are also very small. I actually just have a second battery right in my wallet. And that way I can pretty much record for a long time. Also, I do it for time-lapse photography sometimes. And it's able to take photos for about 4 hours in time-lapse mode. And after that, it dies. And that's actually one kind of negative, is that it doesn't seem to be really a legitimate way of powering the camera. So you can't just leave it on a tripod and have it being charged while taking photos, for example, for 24 hours. I kind of looked online and there seemed to be some sort of kind of semi-hack methods of doing it, so I think it is possible, but I didn't look into it further enough. So also to say, this topper, you might be wondering, what is this? I actually 3D printed this cover here. And actually, you might be able to see, but it has a slight, like a gun sight in the front of it, so that way when I'm pointing it somewhere, I can know if it's kind of stable or where I'm pointing it. And actually, I can link to the file of this, so if you have a 3D printer available, I highly recommend this cover. I know there are other ones, but it's really handy because I can pretty much throw the camera in my pocket. I never have to worry about the lens really being scratched because it doesn't actually touch the outside here. So, yeah, as you can see, of course the phone has to be right now. So just overall, I'm really happy with this thing I made here. And one issue with this camera is if you don't buy, you can buy the third party with a lens protector, but the problem is the lens will still be right like at the front. So essentially, if you just throw it out of your pocket, even the lens protector will easily get scratched. And I really like this because it just really allows me to just throw the camera legitimately in any pocket I have, and it's there. And to clean it, sometimes all I do is I kind of just press it against my shirt like this, and I just lightly rub it because the shirt will just barely touch the lens, just to give it a light kind of dusting. So yeah, basically this is just kind of an overview of my thoughts of using the camera. I'm not really going to specs into video quality. It obviously takes great 1080p video. It is kind of an action cam, so it's meant for closer up video. So if you're kind of trying to take a video of something further away, it's really not that good for it. It's really meant to be on a helmet and kind of first person view. Some other things about the camera. I do really like its design. I like how it's facing forward, and I like that it has no screen, so there's nothing really to break, nothing. It's just simple. It records videos, it comes in a logical standard package, it's easy to use, and it just works. One thing, I guess I haven't really used the GoPro enough to kind of compare it fully, but one thing I never really liked about the GoPro is that the camera is kind of facing sideways, so to me this is always much easier to hold. You can kind of hide it even in your hand, or you know, you can literally like just hold this camera like this and easily record a video. So it's just, I find it's more easy to use. But on top of that, I don't really have any legitimate comparisons with the GoPro. As I said, I've not really used it enough. We have one in the company, and the person that used this camera wants to record a speech, and then later purchased the GoPro, said this camera had much better audio quality than the Hero 3, and also they said the battery life on this was much better, as it made it through a over 2-hour meeting, and the GoPro did not. Those are the only other basically points of input I have on that. Other than that, Also with the waterproof case, I haven't used it too much, but one thing I just wanted to point out, if you are buying this camera and you plan to use it underwater, you need to get a new front cover because this needs to be flat. So with this waterproof case, essentially all your video underwater will be distorted. So basically the point of this case is to, you know, be out in the ocean, be somewhere where you might get splashed or get wet. But this is really not for underwater use. Although you can put it underwater with no problem, all your video will be distorted until you get a new front plate. So just keep this in mind. I didn't actually know that. Yeah, like I said, I really haven't used this that much along with the watch. So I've really just been using this camera. And overall, if anyone just is looking for something to take videos with quickly, easily, that has great audio qualities, something you toss in your pocket, this really is it. I can just also show the inside of it. It's pretty easy to open. You just flick this here and it opens right up. It has a little rubber gasket for waterproof, and the battery is in here and the SD card is in here. Also, when you turn the camera on, it has basically 3 buttons: left, right, and enter, which is the record key. So generally to turn it on, I just press any one of these buttons. Although if you press the record button first, it will automatically start up and record right away. So as you can see, I'm currently recording, I mean not recording, in video mode, and it's actually showing me I have 1 hour and 49 minutes of recording time left. So this is very handy, and right here you can just switch it between different modes. And it also has the smartphone Play Memories smartphone app, which makes it very easy. So I use that actually semi-frequently, sometimes when I need to aim it or just kind of get a quick idea of what is in view or what is not in view. I can just pop up the camera, the smartphone, and just see what this camera is showing. Yeah, and basically this is it. It's a great camera, and I've really been very happy with it. It's actually, this is the charging port. I just also wanted to show that. It's a little annoying that if you have a bent cable or like an angular charging cable, it can get in the way of this bottom case, and I've basically almost never taken this off. It's actually quite filthy under there. Oh, yeah, and actually I almost forgot. I haven't taken this off in so long. I forgot there's another port here. So here we have HDMI out, and what is that? I'm not even sure. Looks like some sort of proprietary video cable. I'm gonna have to double check on that. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I really haven't used those. I prefer not comment on things I don't know too well. So I have been just using it as a standard video camera, and it has been working well for that. Essentially, if you need this, you can get them pretty cheap, especially on eBay. But it's highly recommended, especially, if you're looking for anything different than GoPro.